As part of Black History Month, Amrit Troon and Kira Jones, two Northwestern seniors, discussed their research on interracial sexuality and sexual violence in the African American community, Wednesday at an event sponsored by Northwestern's Center for Awareness, Response and Education, or CARE, and the Gender and Sexuality Studies Department.
Despite its prevalence, stories of rape and sexual violence against women played little to no role in the larger civil rights movement. This ultimately created a culture of silence around Black sexuality to help counter negative stereotypes and keep the personal lives of African Americans hidden from white people. This code of secrecy virtually erased the record of sexual violence against Black women and silenced many survivors.
Kira Jones, a communication senior and gender studies double major, said that through her research, she found a strong history of sexual violence against Black women that isn't talked about enough.
Most feminist discourse is focused on white women, and most, African American civil rights discourse is focused on violence against Black men, and Black women are just kind of left out, and their stories are kind of just not heard, yet the effects of the normalization of violence against Black women are still very prevalent in the way we think and the way that Black women think about themselves and, their bodies and how they cope with sexual violence. With the community being so small here at Northwestern, which is something I discussed a lot in my presentation, it's even more toxic not to talk about it because there's nowhere for people to go because you already didn't have a safe space at Northwestern as a Black student. Many students feel very marginalized here, and so you found a safe space within the Black community, and if somebody assaults you, you don't have a safe space anymore. You're kind of left out in the cold.
Weinberg senior Amrit Troon discussed the pitfalls of hailing interracial relationships as a symbol of a post-racial society without understanding how deeply they are rooted in the racial history of the world.
Just because you want this experience of interracial sex and these mixed race populations to be able to symbolize that we're moving in a better, more progressive, or towards a more progressive society where race is less of a thing, less of a barrier, it's not necessarily true. You see, we often celebrate interracial intimacy as symbolic of love triumphing over race and racial difference, but ignore how interracial relationships are often characterized by sexual perversion, lust, fetishism, power politics, and sheer racial fascination. Interracial sexuality is manipulated, twisted, and turned in order to hide structures of racial inequality or difference.
Weinberg freshman Angel Ayan said she was inspired hearing two fellow students present their research on a topic of interest to her.
These were two people of color in the social sciences, so it wasn't like a white person in chem. I can't relate to that. This I can relate to. This gives me hope.
Despite the issues Jones and Troon brought up in their presentations, Jones believes CARE is effectively helping victims of sexual violence at Northwestern.
CARE is doing a really great job of reaching out to Black students. They recognized a marginalized community and they wanted to create a safe space for them, and I think they've really done that.
The two students, whose discussions focused on different topics, heightened awareness about the intersection of race, gender, and sexuality, and contributed to the overall theme of sexual violence in communities of color. In Evanston, Naib Mian, Medill.